So thanks for that introduction. You saw me carrying my speech with me because I was in the receiving line, and I'm a Navy man, and I counted there were probably 700 people here. I think there were probably 695 Army. I love that. So I was telling Rob Sweeney, he's a Navy guy, he put next to me, I said, the last time I didn't have my speech with me, they stole it. They did, that's a true story, so that's why I had it. And I'm also really appreciate him recognizing my family over there, because I was the middle child, I was the problem child, and I think my family's here because they're proud of me, but I think they really wanted to see if anybody was really going to give me an award. But it's a real honor to be here, and a real honor to receive the award. But it's really my honor to be here with you all, because I think patriotism, I consider myself a patriot, but I consider all of you patriots. And I met so many patriots in the receiving line, so thank you for all being here. So I got to tell you, I did some research on Dave. He's class of 1988 from West Point. And yeah, I met you all. But just a stat on West Point, class of 1988. They've got 24 general officers in their class, which is pretty unprecedented, probably, I think, 3 or 4 4-stars. Which made me think about why he asked me to speak. Because I'm a frogman, I'm a 3-star, and I'm from the Naval Academy. But I asked my government issue friend, that's my aide, and he's an Army guy, and he said, honestly, sir, you're probably the 25th person he asked. True story. But I'm also appreciative that you asked me to speak too, because I put my uniform on tonight and my wife goes, wow, you really look good. And you all can see, he gave me the head jokes. I got a face for radio, but I appreciate that. But I got to tell you, I'm going to have the last laugh, I think, with the Kims, because they've got a really great family of service. They have 4 kids, 2 of which serve. And their youngest son, who I've had the chance to interact with, I met by chance in Miami in a change of command for Special Operations Command South. Is a great young man, and I'm going to make him a frogman. But I want to seriously start by thanking Dave and Cynthia. This mission here in this incredible organization is honorable, it's pure, and it's true. I think of my mother, who said that education is perhaps the single most important gift we can give. It's an investment in a young person's future, and it's arguably the best way to honor the sacrifice of our fallen. So please join me in a round of applause for the Kims. I'd also like to recognize John Waldron. I just talked to him. He has 6 kids, which I think is awesome. And Goldman Sachs, who have a long history of benevolence in taking leading roles in public service. But I couldn't be happier to be with you tonight, and I think it's only appropriate that we are gathered as our nation is about to commemorate Memorial Day, this coming Monday. And I know I'm guilty of this as a young man, but it's easy to forget the true meaning of Memorial Day. For me, growing up, it meant the end of school, the start of summer's pool and picnic. For some of you here, it might mean the first long summer weekend to the beach or the shore. But we can't forget. It's really about honoring, and I would say even celebrating, the men and women who've given their lives for this great country, our fallen patriots themselves. I'm reminded of a quote that I heard about 10 years ago. It said, "It's important we remember because a nation that forgets its defenders, past or present, will itself be forgotten. Memorial Day is that moment to remember. And I would add that just as important as our fallen is our gold-starred families and children. They are the real patriots. So tonight's also a moment to let them know that we've all remembered them too. Would you join me in recognizing our gold-starred children and families one more time tonight? I can't see anymore, so I put my glasses on. But it's also great to be back in New York. I got up this morning, this city's alive. And it was great to do a slow run in Central Park. My brother's laughing. He knows I'm slow. But really, 9/11 seems like a long time ago. And I really believe this great city led our country with unbelievable strength and resiliency. So today, to say that we live in unpredictable times is an understatement. We're seeing unparalleled national security challenges with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, China's coercive behavior, the always unpredictable Iran and North Korea. And while 9/11 seems like a long time ago, violent extremism and terrorism really has become like crime, and we must stay vigilant. But I'm inspired because there's a generation that raised their hand to meet those challenges. This generation is serving right now, a generation of patriots. They raise their hands like their brave forefathers and continue to meet our national defense challenges around the world. They embody the ethos of Medal of Honor Colonel Jack Jacobs, who was an honor to meet him tonight. And his memoir is titled, If Not Now, Then When? And I couple that with a young First Lieutenant Travis Manion, who said, if not me, then who? But we know too well that defending our freedoms come with a cost. Some give up their tomorrows for our todays. So tonight, I'll share two brief stories from my journey over the last 39 years of patriots from our special operations community. Then I'll share a little bit about someone you'll hear from tonight, a real-life patriot, a patriot scholar. And I'll leave you with a couple of reasons why I'm so hopeful for this nation. So the first is Extortion 17. It was August 6, 2011. It was the single greatest loss of life during the war in Afghanistan in the history of my community, the SEAL community. On a hot, dusty, moonless night in the Tangi Valley of southern Afghanistan, 30 Americans on board an Army CH-47 Chinook were on a mission to remove a senior Taliban high-value target. Those 30 Americans included 17 Navy SEALs, 5 Air Force Special Operators, 3 Navy support, and 5 Army air crew. On final approach to the target, the Chinook helicopter was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade, killing all on board. These men came from 20 states across our great country. They were where they wanted to be, in the arena, making a difference, brave, decisive, and selfless. They were loving fathers, committed husbands, treasured friends and teammates. I remember as my wife and I attended numerous funerals and memorials, our spouses, which are the bedrock of our military, showed strength and grace as they tried to stay strong for the 28 children and 3 on the way that were left fatherless. Their lives would never be the same, and that's an understatement. As a father of 4, it was particularly painful to witness the incomprehensible grief of so many young children. Those men raised their right hands. Their spouses agreed to marry them. The 31 children had no choice and were born into a life of service. And I can tell you, and despite their unbelievable strength, I could see and feel the underlying fear from the spouses. Who would coach, love and hug them, teach them to hunt, tie a tie, or surf, attend daddy-daughter dances, scare the bad boyfriends? I was one of them. Help them with college, watch them graduate, walk them down the aisle. So these 30 families and 31 children, and really these 21 Patriot scholars and their families, have sacrificed tremendously for our nation. I've watched their tremendous courage and resiliency through some hard times, understandably struggling at times, but keeping the faith. So I think it's important we collectively as a nation keep the commitment we made to honor their fathers' memories, but more importantly, to be there for their families and their kids for the long term. The second story is of Petty Officer Ryan Jobe, who was serving as a Navy SEAL on his second tour over SEALs, and I had the honor of being his commanding officer at SEAL Team 3. Ryan and his fellow SEALs were on a rooftop providing overwatch for U.S. and Iraqi forces who were establishing outposts in Ramadi, Iraq, which at the time had been declared by then Al-Qaeda senior leader Anwar al-Sakari the center of the Islamic Caliphate. Ryan and our team were 5 months into a deployment. They had sustained door-to-door urban combat and significant casualties over that 5 months. The team's position on the rooftop came under attack, and Ryan was hit by an enemy sniper bullet that tore through his face, destroying one eye and severing the optic nerves of the other, leaving him completely blind. Ryan returned to the United States with the same determination, persistence, and a sense of humor he had shown in combat, and as he said, determined to be the best blind guy ever. I remember my daughter Hannah and I going to visit him, and how proud he was that he convinced the eye doctor to put a SEAL trident in his prosthetic eye. His girlfriend at the time, Kelly, never left his side and was there for Ryan every step of the way through an arduous and painful one-year-long recovery process. But over the next 2 years, Ryan graduated from college with a 4.0. He climbed Mount Rainier. He married Kelly and committed himself to helping the next wounded veterans making their transition. Tragically, while Ryan was undergoing reconstructive surgery, he died. Kelly was 3 months pregnant with their first child, Leah. I talked to Kelly this week, and she was happy Ryan's story would be told and his name remembered. So thank you. So I share these two stories of my journey, but these are two of tens of thousands of spouses and children left behind by fallen patriots. It's critically important that we, all of us, who enjoy this great country, in our own patriotic way, take David and Cynthia's lead in this great foundation and support their children. I will tell you, I'm guilty of this. We are very good at giving a lot of attention early on to those left behind, and sometimes this fades, while the emptiness in their hearts and lives endures. It may not ever shrink, but through education and opportunity, these children can rightfully grow and reach their potential. So later tonight, all of us will have the honor and privilege of hearing from Caitlin Rowe, an exemplar of the 21 Patriot Scholars, the daughter of Dawn and Marine Captain Alan Rowe, who was killed in action in Iraq in 2004. I can tell you that Caitlin, her mom, and her brother Blake's journey is inspiring. And it's a manifestation of their resiliency and courage, but also the great support children of fallen patriots have provided them over their long journey. I had the opportunity to chat with Caitlin a couple of weeks ago. Caitlin is a proud graduate of the University of Southern California, thanks to this foundation. And I was getting ready to head out to Los Angeles for my youngest daughter's graduation from the University of Southern California. And it was a great conversation. We talked about her dad, their mutual love of off-road, Broncos, and fixing things, how he was killed when he insisted that he go with his men on a route reconnaissance when he didn't need to go. We talked about the unpredictability of life in combat. While some were chosen and others weren't, I shared my own near misses. Why some could be there for graduations and weddings like me, and some not. And this young woman was amazing. She paused over the phone and she simply said to me, "I'm happy for you." So I know we got a lot of parents here, and I think a parent's greatest joy is to see their kids succeed and be good people. Caitlin is an amazing young woman, and I know Alan is looking down on her and is very proud. So as I close tonight, let me leave you with 3 final points on why I'm optimistic about our nation. First and most important, our most important assets remains our people, from young to old. There's a tendency to think and lament that prior generations were greater, more committed, and service-oriented. I would beg to differ. No matter the war or century, the core of these men and women, the men of Extortion 1-7, Ryan Job, Alan Rowe, the fathers of the 21 Patriot Scholars, Sergeant Gibbs, or Chief Hartwick, or the 6,000 Special Operations Forces currently forward deployed in 90 countries, remains the same. It's about service and stepping into the arena, despite unknown dangers, wanting to be part of something bigger than self, and defending the ideals of this great country. The second is the partnership of what I call active patriotism. As important is the partnership we have with you as citizen soldiers through the Children of Fallen Patriots. And I would urge you how industry and finance enables us to adapt and evolve to compete. We need that more than ever with the strategic landscape. So we've been there for you, but you've been there for us, and we are grateful. For our Gold Star families, part of the freedom we cherish is a product of the freedom of their painful and enduring sacrifice. For those families and children, we must rally behind and continue to be there. Again, you will hear from Caitlin Rowe later and see the results of this patriotic partnership. I encourage you to engage with her, the 21 Patriot Scholars, and all the Gold Star families. You will come away inspired, as I always do. So thank you all for all you have done for our fallen, our families, and our veterans. And I would ask you to keep that partnership with the men and women in uniform and their families as they continue to serve our great nation. And finally, I'm grateful for this country. David mentioned I'm a kid from a family of 9 who flew on his first airplane when he joined the Navy for the adventure and to see the world. And I can say after 39 years of seeing that world, With all of our imperfections, this country remains the greatest country on earth. And I'm most optimistic because, as Secretary Austin stated recently, the United States and our allies have an advantage no autocracy can match: free enterprise, free minds, and free people. Thank you for letting my family and I share this evening with you, the great people of New York, our Gold Star families, this great organization, and the people I love. Please keep all our men and women serving overseas in your thoughts and prayers, and thank you for your active patriotism. You are making a difference. Beat Army. Thank you.